So now let's look at the other thing. Since we have now completed the SQLCA, the importance of it. So before that we have seen how to write the program of COBOL DB2 combination, right? So now since we have learned a new concept, that is SQL communication area, we will try to implement that. So since I have already taken this SQLCA, so we'll try to apply that condition here, right? So in order to use this SQLCA, so we need to know the SQL code, and SQL state is already there. So since we already added that, so then we'll try to write the code. If SQL code equal to 00, so that is equal to 00, so then display record fetched. Okay, so this is what I'm going to write, and then else display there is an error, and you can display SQL code with the message what it will display, right? So this is how we can write the statement, and you can end if that. So record fetch, and we can move this to here as well, right? We can move this record here. I'll remove the dot, then save this. So now you can see that you have the specific records, and then you have all the data here, right? So that's it, guys. So now let's see what would happen. Okay, so now let's compile this, or I'll explain you the compilation part in the next video. No, let's finish up here itself. Okay, so what is the first step that we need to do is it's a pre-compilation part. So pre-compilation, how we do is, so let me go here and have COBOL DB2 pre-compilation. Yeah, so here what we do is we have different parameters here. So what is my program? So it's a COBOL DB2 PG1. So COBOL DB2 PG1, I can write my program here. And where is your program? The program is here within this library, so I can write this here. Okay, so then yeah, so this specifies the source library. Okay, so then you have something load library. So we can we have already created one load library as well, right? For this, let's see what was the load library. Okay, so we got it as db2.load library. So we'll mention that particular load library here, and dbrm also we have. So dbrm library, we'll keep our dbrm library. And then you have dcl gen created for us. So dcl gen, where is the dcl gen? So dcl gen is here. So we pass that particular dcl gen, and then you are good to pre-compile. So what happens into the pre-compilation part is it will compile, while compiling, right? So it's gonna convert all the SQL statements into an COBOL understandable language. Let's compile this and see how it's gonna work. Okay, it ended with 12. Let's see what is the error. see, pre-compilation error or it's a COBOL error. Let's see which error it is. Okay, the pre-compilation part looks good. Okay, so why? Because what is happening here in the pre-compilation part, if you look at the code here in the pre-compilation part, so you can see DB2 SQL pre-compiler version 10. So and it has taken all the code and see, it has expanded our code. The include statements, all the include statements are now expanded, and see, you can see the COBOL statement has been extended, and then you have an SQLCA also added here, and then so all the user defined codes got expanded, and then pre-compiler version. So now it says DB2 version 10, pre-compiler version 10, release 1.0. So symbols, now you can see that DEMP character 5 column not null. So it is trying to convert into the its understandable language, that is nothing but it's a pre-compiling, and then you can see the rest of the statements. Source lines read 60 and number of symbols 18 and so on. So this is how it's converted. And let's see another CB term. So what exactly this means. So it says there were zero messages there were zero messages from this program, there was zero messages surprise from this flag and bytes, then the written code is 0. So there is no issues in the pre-compilation, but let's check in the COBOL program what's the messages it is showing us. So now you can see the written code is 12. So but why that is coming up? Let's see. SQL warning. Okay, so let's go to our code. Where is our code? Yeah, it should come somewhere here. Okay, yeah, now if you look at here, so this is our code, this is the actual COBOL program. So now you can see it has commented all the in the pre-compilation it tried to expand, it has expanded the code. Now you look at in the COBOL part, you can see all the SQL statement that is there, so it has been commented out, everything is now commented out. So this is commented out, and we have only the COBOL part. Now you cannot see any of the SQL related code here. All the SQL related statements are being commented out by the compiler, right? So now you can see only these variables, and even in the SQLCA also, so you can see SQLCA ID and SQL ABC code, error messages, SQL warning, and the rest of the statements that you can see, everything is being expanded, and all the error messages, everything is being done here, right? So and procedure division, DSN SQL, so it is trying to convert, as I said, like, so all the logic that we have written is trying to convert into the COBOL understandable language, and it is trying to do all the activities that it can do, right? Again, you can see that whatever the queries we have written, so that is being commented out, and SQL initial call DSH install internal, it is calling the codes, right? So now what we have done, what is the error message, we'll see. If SQL code equal to 00, display record fetch, display DCL DEMP, and else we wanted to display error SQL code. So now I had miss S there. So do you see this? So that is the reason it was showing error. Apart from that, we were absolutely good, right? So now we have tried to debug into the details. Now you got to know like what is happening in the pre-compilation part. In the pre-compilation part, it is trying to convert, it is trying to just expand the code, but it is not trying to comment. It has expanded all the exec SQL statements code, that is like include host variables, so that is expanded. So after expanding, so then what is the next step it is doing? It is trying to comment the code. So that means there are two steps here. One is expanding the code and other is commenting the code, right? So now this is done. So let me fix that COBOL program. So where was that? So I have written here, right? So in this we have this. So I just missed this part. Where is that? Yeah, okay, this was a simple mistake I've done. That's okay, that shouldn't be a problem. It's always better. If you get an issues, you should be happy. Why? Because you'll be learning a more concept when you make a mistake. Okay, now you can see that it's absolutely completed. And if you want to go back to spool and see what it has done, now you can see it has pre-compiled. It has a COBOL program has been converted, and then it has link edited. So earlier 3 steps were ran, so compilation and COBOL, but the link edit was didn't done, right? So this is what the execution works, right? So now we have successfully link edited, and it has created the load module of this. So but what's next? And in the link edited, it has generated the report. So there is nothing. End of message summary. Do you see anything? Warning? Nothing. Everything looks to be okay. So there is no issue at all, right? So then the next step would be like you need to bind. We need to bind this. Okay, so how do we bind this? Is first what we need to do is we need to what was our program name? Our program name was COBOL DB2 PG1, right? So you have to specify. Again, we use an utility of a DB2 utilities. If you recall my basic classes where I have told, right, the DB2 can be called using an SQMF spoofy, TSO, and then a batch program, and then using utilities, right? So here we are trying to use that DB2 utility. Okay, and it has provided its own libraries, and here we have to specify the dbrm lib. So after compiling, so another thing that I have missed here, right? So I'll let you know. So what is that? Is dbrm lib. After compiling, so it has generated some dbrm lib, so that is related to a db2. So it's a db2 module, I can say db2 load module, so that a db2 can only understand. Okay, so now we are sending a request to the db2 in a db2 understandable format. So that's the reason in the pre-compilation part we have separated the COBOL program load module separately and the DB2 load module separately. So for example, this is one load module, and our load module was, there was another load module. So we start hello. Okay, now DB2 load module, right? Within the DB2 load module you have this, right? So now you can see this is the load module. This load module is related to COBOL, and the another related load module is related to COBOL. So we have separated these two load modules. So now what next, right? So the next thing is you need to bind. Where is that? Let's go here. Yeah, okay, now we need to bind these two things by making a proper plan. Okay, so we are telling the DSN system DBAG, the system can be different. So for dev it may be different, for production it may be different, for release it may be different, there it gets changed. And now while binding, what we need to know? First we need to know the program name. So what was the program name? COBOL DB2 PG1, right? The COBOL DB2 PG1. So you can write this program name and the plan name. So if you are working on any of the projects, so you should have the plan name, so it will be a generic. and it's defined by a DBA, so we can get this detail from the DBA. And you can have the plan created, action, isolation. These are the different various options that we use in order to whether to give this access to all the programmers or only specific programmers can use, and who is the owner of this qualifier encoding. So these are some of the preparations that we plan using binding. Okay, so we also need to specify the dbrm lib. So where is our dbrm lib? Dbrm lib is here, right? So my dbrm lib is here, so let me override that and queue that. Okay, so now let's run this. Now you can say the status is 04. Let's go to spool and see what has happened here to this step. Okay, now you can see the package. So now since we have created the package of this, so the package successfully created. So you can see the member name, the plan name, action, owner, and the release commit. So all these different options that you can see, and it looks like it has successfully made a plan, and the compilation, pre-compilation has been done, and DB2 bind has also been done successfully. Then what will be the next step is to run this. So we run using an IKJEFT01 utility. Okay, so now you need to, while running, so you need to map your load library. Which load library? The COBOL related load library, right? So where is that? Yes, it is here. So just I'll take this, my COBOL library, COBOL DB2 library, and I'll override this. And what is my program? So my program is this. And anyways, in plan you have the all the details related to your DB2 versioned part. So this plan will give you the information related to this run program, and plan will give you the relation related to the DBRM part, and the library, this will take the details related to the COBOL part, right? So then let's run this. Now it has successfully executed. So what was the main business of the programs? To fetch some information, right? So let's see what it will tell. This out. Now you can see error 100. So that means, so in the earlier I have told you, right? So there is an error here. Why this is throwing it as an error? You know, so there is no data at all. So we haven't entered any data in the input file. I mean, it's not file, so in the table. So in the next video we will first enter the records and then we'll try to execute. So this video was completely show you the DB2 compilation part, pre-compilation, how we are going to do. This is very important, and if you are in an interview also, this question will be surely asked. So whatever I have explained, right, so this gives you the complete information on the COBOL compilation part, COBOL DB2 compilation part. Okay, now let's try to insert some data to the table. Okay, 15 spoofy. Okay, not this. Okay, let me take this, no issues. Or what was the file name? I have a habit of forgetting. Okay, spoofy, right? SPUF. Okay, yeah, what was the member name? This was a member name. Let me copy this. Okay, right. So have this. So now let's try to insert some data into this files. So how do we insert that? We will see now. So just give me a second. Okay, so here what I do is first I can okay, so let me comment this part. Okay, so now let's insert some data here. So how do we insert into, what was the table name? DEMP. What are the fields we have? EID, ENAME, date of birth, E department, right? So these are the fields that we had. And then talking about the values, the value should be this one. What are the values we have? Let's say E0001, and the name say Robert, and the next say okay, employee name we have done, and then say date of birth. Let's say date of birth is something okay, 0708 1985. Okay, then say whatever the salary, let's say 8,000, and then let's say department maybe something D0001, and that's it, right? Like this we can insert multiple. Okay, let's say 2, let's say John. Okay, and let's say 0602 something 65, let's say 9,000, and let's say 2. Okay, okay, let's see after. Let's delete this. Let's okay, 01 it was Robert. 708 75 8 1. Okay, so now we have inserted, run the query. So now you can see that there is an error. Value is not the same. Why? SQL code, the number assigned value is not the same as the specified employed columns. We had 1 2 3 4. Where is this? We have missed. Employee ID is there, employee name is there. Okay, you know what I have done? F3 semicolons, press F3 to come back to the same screen. Okay, so salary, I missed it here. Okay, so that will be the problem. Employee date of birth, then ESAL, and here also ESAL got missed. Okay, now let's 3 semicolon, press F3. Now you can see number of rows affected is 1. Why? Oh, okay, so now let's see again. Let's say what we can do here is we can write this. That should be a problem. Let me comment this. And write this F3. Now it says okay, was already there. Okay, so since it got already updated, but I thought of retrieving this. Okay, testing. Let's run the select query. Do we have select query? No, right? Okay, select star from DEMP MP 3 semicolons F3. Okay, so now you can see that you have retrieved the two records, E01, E02, Robert, and salary was 8,000, and department. So okay, perfect. So now we got all those records. Now let's try to run this program again. So submit. Okay, so now what happens, we'll see. Okay, Now you can see record has been fetched and it has displayed the first record. Awesome, right? So that's how we can get the information from the DB2 tables, and you can connect the COBOL DB2, and we have played. There are a lot of things that we have done in the couple of past videos, and this gives the basic I can say foundation in order to work on COBOL and DB2 programs. If you are perfect with this, right, so you can write any complex programs. I'm saying you, this is the foundation for the COBOL DB2. If you are good with this, you can write any complex programs and you can debug anything. So first, how we started with the understanding of the DB2 concepts like a DDL, DML, DCL, and we understood the two tools QMF and Spoofy, and then we digged into the concepts like host variable, SQLCA, what is include, and then we wrote the COBOL program. Then we tried to pre-compile, compile the code, then we have binded, planning and packaging. Everything is done. Now finally we have tried to run the COBOL program. Awesome, congratulations guys. So if you are watching this video, you are absolutely very good with all the concepts that I have so far covered. Okay, this gives you the enough foundation on the DB2 part. Okay, now let's look at the important terms that we have discussed so far while compiling the program, pre-compiling and running the program, and we have covered, right? So let me discuss in detail about all these terms. So first I will talk about the pre-compiler part. What a pre-compiler will do is, a pre-compiler has created the two modules, right? One was DBRM and other was a modified source program with commented SQL statement that we have seen while compiling it, right? What does a DBM mean, sir? DBM means it will contain the stripped out statements, that is a plan and a package. So basically it is used for checking the syntaxes errors and the privileges that a particular table will have. Okay, so that is what the DBRM will do. And we have a package contains the executed SQL statements, and the plan contains the access path to the package, whereas binding converts the DBRM into an after pre-compiling. So what we have done, we did the binding, right? In the bind we have mentioned the plan and the package, right? So plan means contains the access path to the package where all the executed SQL statements are there. Bind will convert this DBRM into an executable formats. Running, it is a process of executing SQL statements and the modified source program. So you have a DBRM and you have a source program, so you need to mention both of them and also the plan. So with that you can execute the statement, run the COBOL DB.